As a brain doctor, I'm shocked. This vegetable raises stroke risk overnight. If you're over 60, you probably pay close attention to what you eat. Many of my patients tell me they've made an effort to eat more vegetables, believing that every type of vegetable must be good for the brain and the heart. And in most cases, that's true. Vegetables are packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber that support healthy aging. But what often surprises older adults is that some vegetables can cause problems under certain conditions, especially when they're eaten at the wrong time of day, or when they interact with common medications for blood pressure or blood thinners. These situations can quietly raise the risk of stroke by affecting blood flow, clotting, or sudden changes in blood pressure. I've seen many older adults who live healthy lives, avoid smoking, and stay active, yet still run into trouble because of the way their bodies respond to a particular food. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. When you understand how your body changes with age, you can make smarter choices that keep you strong and independent for years to come. That's why today, I want to walk you through several vegetables that can pose hidden risks if you're not careful, and, just as important, show you safer ways to enjoy them without giving up the foods you love. Let's start with the first vegetable on this list, one that many of us keep in the fridge almost every week. 1. Spinach. Nutritious, but not always simple. Spinach has always been considered one of the healthiest foods on our plates. It provides iron for energy, magnesium for muscles, and fiber for digestion. For older adults, it often feels like a safe, reliable choice, and most of the time it is. But after the age of 65, our bodies don't process foods in quite the same way. Blood vessels lose some of their natural flexibility, and many people begin taking daily supplements like calcium and vitamin D, along with common blood pressure or heart medications. That's where spinach deserves a closer look. Spinach contains natural substances called oxalates. These compounds tend to attach to calcium inside the body. In younger adults, oxalates usually pass without causing trouble. But in older adults, especially those with kidney problems or who take high doses of calcium or vitamin D, oxalates can build up. Over time, this may lead to calcium deposits that stiffen arteries. When it happens in the small, delicate blood vessels in the brain, the risk of small clots or reduced blood flow quietly increases. This doesn't mean spinach is bad. Far from it. The key is how and when you eat it. If you take calcium or vitamin D, try having spinach earlier in the day and not at the same time as your supplements. Cooking spinach instead of eating it raw can also reduce the oxalate load. And remember, variety is important. Mixing spinach with other greens spreads the benefits while lowering the risks. The bottom line, spinach is still a friend to your health, but like many things in later life, it requires a little more care. Now, let's turn to the next vegetable. It's often praised for heart protection, but in certain situations, it may actually raise the risk of brain bleeds. 2. Broccoli, good for the heart, but handle with care. Broccoli is one of the most recognized health foods. Many of us grew up hearing, "Eat your broccoli, it's good for you." And that advice holds true in many ways. Broccoli is rich in fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins that support the heart, reduce inflammation, and protect against disease. But after the age of 60, there are a few things to keep in mind. Broccoli is especially high in vitamin K, a nutrient that plays a key role in blood clotting. For younger adults, this is usually helpful. It allows the body to heal from cuts or injuries. In older adults, though, the situation can be more complicated. Many seniors take blood-thinning medications such as warfarin, Plavix, or even daily aspirin. These medicines are designed to prevent dangerous clots that can lead to heart attack or stroke. When vitamin K intake is too high, or when it changes suddenly from day to day, it can interfere with these medications. The result may be blood that is either too thin, raising the risk of a brain bleed, or too thick, raising the risk of a clot. And the difficult part is, you may not feel any warning signs until a serious event happens. So what's the solution? The key is consistency. If you're on a blood thinner, you don't necessarily need to avoid broccoli, but you should eat it in steady amounts rather than large, sudden servings. Keep your doctor informed about how often you eat vitamin K-rich foods, and have your blood checked regularly if advised. Think of broccoli as a good food that requires balance. It can still support your health, but it needs to fit smoothly with your medications and your body's needs. Next, let's turn to a vegetable that looks harmless and refreshing, yet can quietly upset your fluid balance and blood pressure overnight: romaine lettuce. 3. Romaine lettuce, low in calories, but risky at night. For many older adults, a salad at dinner time feels like the perfect choice. It's light, easy to digest, and low in calories, which makes sense when you're focused on weight and heart health. Romaine lettuce, in particular, is often the star of these evening salads. But after age 65, even simple foods can have unexpected effects. Romaine is rich in water and fiber, and it acts as a gentle diuretic, meaning it encourages the body to get rid of fluid. For younger people, this isn't much of an issue. For older adults, especially those already taking diuretics or blood pressure medications, it can become a hidden problem. Here's why. As we age, the body loses some of its natural thirst signals. You may not feel thirsty even when you're slightly dehydrated. Overnight, when you aren't drinking water, that fluid loss can add up. The blood becomes a little thicker, moving more slowly through blood vessels. For the brain, which depends on steady blood flow, this makes it easier for small clots to form. And because blood vessels in older adults are often more fragile, even mild dehydration can tip the balance toward a stroke. This doesn't mean romaine lettuce is bad. It's still a healthy food, but timing matters. If you enjoy salads, consider having them at lunch instead of right before bed. And if you do eat romaine at night, make sure you're staying hydrated throughout the day and not skipping fluids in the evening. Think of romaine as a refreshing friend that works best earlier in the day. By making this simple shift, you can still enjoy your greens without putting extra stress on your brain and circulation. Next, let's look at another common vegetable: carrots. They seem sweet and harmless, but when eaten raw at night, they can quietly affect blood sugar and brain health in surprising ways. 4. Raw carrots, a hidden spike for your brain. Carrots are often seen as the perfect healthy snack. They're crunchy, naturally sweet, low in calories, and full of beta-carotene that supports vision and immune function. For many older adults, keeping raw carrots in the fridge feels like a smart choice, something to enjoy at night without guilt. But as we age, even simple foods can affect the body in surprising ways. Raw carrots, especially when eaten alone at night, may quietly raise stroke risk by disrupting blood sugar balance. Here's why. Carrots are lower in sugar than processed snacks, but when eaten raw and on an empty stomach, they can still cause a quick rise in blood sugar. In younger adults, the body responds smoothly. In older adults, especially those with pre-diabetes, diabetes, or circulation problems, insulin responses may be less predictable. Sometimes the body overreacts, bringing sugar levels down too far during the night, a condition called nocturnal hypoglycemia. When this happens, the body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones tighten blood vessels, increase blood pressure, and make the blood more likely to clot. For an aging brain with narrower, stiffer vessels, that combination can create the conditions for a stroke or a transient ischemic attack. This doesn't mean carrots are unhealthy. They remain a valuable food, but timing and pairing matter. If you enjoy carrots, have them earlier in the day. Combine them with protein or healthy fat, such as hummus, nuts, or a boiled egg to slow down the blood sugar response. Avoid eating raw carrots by themselves right before bed. The lesson is balance, the right food, at the right time, in the right combination. By making small adjustments, you can still enjoy carrots without risking your brain health. Next, let's talk about garlic, a vegetable often praised as medicine. But in older adults, it can thin the blood so much that even a small vessel rupture becomes dangerous. Phytonutrients. Garlic, healing in moderation. Risky in excess. Garlic has been used for centuries as both food and medicine. Many people praise it for lowering cholesterol, supporting the immune system, and improving circulation, and much of that is true. Garlic contains compounds that naturally thin the blood, helping to prevent dangerous clots that can block arteries. But for older adults, especially those already on medications for the heart or blood pressure, garlic can become a double-edged sword. The same compounds that thin the blood may push it too far, making vessels more fragile and less able to stop bleeding when they need to. This matters because as we age, blood vessels become thinner and less elastic. A younger body might tolerate a minor bleed, but in someone over 70, even a small vessel rupture in the brain can have lasting effects. When garlic is combined with anticoagulants such as warfarin, Plavix, or even daily aspirin, the risk of bleeding increases significantly. Some seniors may also notice easier bruising or prolonged bleeding from small cuts, early signs that the balance may be off. So what should you do? Garlic can still be part of a healthy diet, but moderation is key. Instead of eating it raw in large amounts or taking high-dose garlic supplements, use it in cooking where the potency is milder. Always let your doctor know if you regularly consume garlic or take supplements, especially if you are on blood-thinning medications. The goal isn't to avoid garlic completely, but to use it wisely. A small amount can support your health, while too much can put your brain at risk. Next, we'll move to another surprising vegetable, one that many people enjoy for its cooling crunch. Yet for older adults, cucumbers can quietly upset electrolyte balance and increase the risk of nighttime dizziness and falls. 6. Cucumbers, refreshing, but a hidden drain on balance. Cucumbers are often thought of as one of the lightest and most refreshing vegetables. They're crisp, full of water, and low in calories, making them a common choice for salads, snacks, and even infused drinks. For many older adults, cucumbers seem like the perfect safe food. But as with other vegetables, context matters. Cucumbers are naturally high in water and contain compounds that act as mild diuretics. For younger adults, this gentle effect often goes unnoticed. For older adults, especially those already on blood pressure medication, diuretics, or low-sodium diets, cucumbers can push the body toward losing too much fluid or essential electrolytes. Why does this matter? Electrolytes like potassium, sodium, and magnesium help regulate muscle function, nerve signals, and blood pressure. When levels dip too low, seniors may experience leg cramps, irregular heartbeats, dizziness, or even fainting. These risks are often highest at night, when the body is already prone to dehydration, and because balance naturally declines with age. A simple dizzy spell in the bathroom can lead to a dangerous fall. This doesn't mean cucumbers are bad. They still provide hydration and antioxidants. But for seniors, moderation and timing are important. Instead of eating large portions late at night, enjoy cucumbers earlier in the day. Pair them with a source of protein or healthy fat, such as yogurt or a handful of nuts, to help keep electrolytes stable. And always pay attention to hydration, not just water intake, but also mineral balance. The takeaway: cucumbers can be refreshing allies, but too much at the wrong time can upset your body's delicate balance. Next, let's turn to another vegetable that often gets overlooked: beets. While praised for improving circulation, in older adults they can cause sudden drops in blood pressure that may leave you lightheaded or even at risk for fainting. 7. Beets. Circulation boost with a blood pressure twist. Beets are often celebrated as a superfood for circulation. They're rich in nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that helps relax blood vessels and improve blood flow. For many people, this means better heart health, lower blood pressure, and more oxygen delivered to the brain and muscles. But for older adults, especially those already taking medication for high blood pressure, beets can sometimes work a little too well. The natural nitrate effect can cause blood pressure to drop more than expected. For someone in their 40s, this may feel like a mild benefit. For someone in their 70s, it can mean dizziness, lightheadedness, or even fainting. This becomes even more important at night. If you eat beets with dinner and your medication is already lowering your blood pressure, the combined effect can make it difficult for your brain to get steady blood flow while you sleep. That lack of oxygen can leave you waking up groggy, confused, or in rare cases, trigger a small stroke. So how can you enjoy beets safely? Timing and portion size matter. Try having beets earlier in the day, like lunch, when your body is more active and able to handle the drop in pressure. Pair them with foods that provide protein and healthy fats, which can help stabilize the effect. And always check your blood pressure regularly if you eat beets often, especially if you're on medication. The bottom line, beets can be beneficial. But in older adults, they need to be managed carefully to avoid sudden drops in blood pressure. Next, let's move on to another vegetable that seems harmless on the surface: eggplant. While delicious and versatile, it contains natural compounds that may interfere with nerve signals and muscle strength in seniors. 8. Eggplant. Flavorful, but a challenge for nerves and muscles. Eggplant is a versatile vegetable, used in everything from Mediterranean stews to Italian pasta dishes. It's rich in fiber, antioxidants, and unique compounds that may protect cells from damage. For many, it's a tasty and healthy way to add variety to meals. But for older adults, eggplant carries a lesser-known challenge. It belongs to the nightshade family of vegetables, which also includes tomatoes and peppers. These plants naturally contain alkaloids, such as solanine, that can affect nerve and muscle function when eaten in large amounts. In younger, healthy bodies, these compounds are usually tolerated well, but in seniors, especially those dealing with arthritis, nerve pain, or muscle weakness, they may worsen symptoms. Some older adults notice that eating eggplant regularly leaves them feeling more achy or stiff. Others may experience mild digestive upset, since eggplant skin and seeds can be harder to process in aging digestive systems. And because eggplant is naturally spongy, it absorbs oil quickly during cooking, which can make a dish heavier and harder to digest if not prepared carefully. Does this mean you should avoid eggplant? Not necessarily. The key is moderation and preparation. Try roasting or baking eggplant instead of frying it, which keeps the dish lighter. If you notice increased joint pain, nerve tingling, or stomach discomfort after eating eggplant, consider cutting back and see if symptoms improve. And, as always, balance your diet with a variety of vegetables rather than relying too heavily on one. Eggplant can still be enjoyed as part of a healthy meal plan. It just needs a little extra awareness. Next, let's talk about the 9th and final vegetable on our list, one that most seniors eat every week, often without a second thought: potatoes. But depending on how and when you eat them, they may quietly raise your risk of blood sugar swings and vascular stress. 9. Potatoes. Comfort food with a blood sugar. Cost. Potatoes are one of the most common and comforting foods in American kitchens. Mashed, baked, roasted, or fried. They're often the centerpiece of family meals. Potatoes provide potassium, vitamin C, and fiber, nutrients that can be helpful for heart and digestive health. But for older adults, potatoes also carry risks that are often overlooked. Unlike many other vegetables, potatoes are high in starch. When cooked and eaten, especially in large amounts or without much protein or fiber, they quickly break down into sugar in the bloodstream. This rapid rise in blood sugar triggers insulin release, and in seniors with diabetes, prediabetes, or simply slower metabolism, the swings can be sharper and harder to control. Why is this a concern for the brain? Fluctuations in blood sugar affect blood vessels, making them expand and contract. Sudden spikes, followed by drops, can stress already fragile arteries, reducing steady blood flow to the brain. Over time, this increases the risk of small clots, vascular inflammation, and even stroke. Eating potatoes at night may also make these swings worse, since the body processes sugar less efficiently while you sleep. The good news is you don't have to give up potatoes completely. Instead, focus on preparation and balance. Choose boiled or baked potatoes over fried versions, and eat them in moderate portions. Pair them with protein, fiber, and healthy fat like fish, beans, or olive oil to slow the sugar release. And avoid eating large servings late in the evening. Potatoes can still be part of a healthy diet, but they shouldn't dominate your plate. By managing portions and timing, you can enjoy their comfort without putting extra stress on your brain and circulation. The truth is, no single vegetable is entirely good or bad. What matters is how it fits your age, your health, and your medications. By making small adjustments, choosing the right time of day, balancing portions, and staying consistent, you can still enjoy the foods you love without putting your brain or heart at risk. Take these lessons as reminders that healthy eating after 60 is about balance, not restriction. With a little awareness, you can protect your independence, stay strong, and keep enjoying life.